morning. My name is Gabe Wolf, and I am the Prime Minister here at Winston Churchill High School. It is my great honor to be the first speaker this morning as we honor former Churchill principal, Mr. Joe Reasons, with a very special day. I would also like to honor and thank all the friends and family and colleagues of Mr. Reasons who braved the cold weather this morning to celebrate with him. On to the reason we are here. Most of you do not need me to recap the resume of Mr. Reasons, but I will share a few highlights. Mr. Reasons dedicated 50 years of his life to serving students and teachers in education. Mr. Reasons spent 34 of his years in NEISD, including 10 as principal of our great school. Mr. Reasons recently retired, but has not stopped serving, mentoring, and guiding teachers and administrators. And Mr. Reasons somehow looks exactly like Winston Churchill. That makes me wonder if Mr. Bloomer will one day look like In 2019, our newest building at Churchill High School opened. The Campus Improvement Committee voted unanimously to name the building in his honor. This morning, we will officially dedicate the 9,000 building in his honor, and it will forever be known as the Joe Reasons Academic Building. Now, before we begin the ceremony, we would like to have our drumline and our cheerleaders play one of Mr. Reasons' favorite cadences, Hula. I would like to welcome Coach Carl Gustafson to the stage to say a few words about Mr. Reasons.
Thank you. First, I want to thank Todd Bloomer for making the Joe Reasons Academic Building a reality. Things like that just don't happen with some persistence and resolve. And we really appreciate it. Whether it's deserving or not is up for debate. Many of y'all know that Mr. Reasons retired during the pandemic. Not because it was the right time for him to step away, but he knew that we couldn't gather together to roast him. Honor him. So, Mr. Bloomer, I appreciate the opportunity. While driving here this morning, I counted the number of principals that I had the privilege of working for, and there was 9. I worked for 9 principals. And Joe Reasons was undoubtedly the 9th best. Mr. Reasons' influence in this school district was so impactful, there's even a leadership concept named in his honor. It's called the Joe Reasons Rule. Joe accepted the job as the executive director of whatever at Central Office. Then it was Jeff Vaughn's turn to lead this campus. And I can imagine that anyone that would be moving into a principalship at such an esteemed high school would have doubts about whether they were up for the challenge. Thus, the Joe Reasons rule was born. We reminded Jeff Thorne, and then a few years later, Justin Oxley, and then Todd Bloomberg got the Joe Reasons rule as they embarked on their new venture. See, the Joe Reasons rule reads as follows. How hard could it be? Joe Reasons did it. I know that this rule boosted the confidence of all three of those men as they took over the helm at WC. Back in 1999, I sat down and interviewed with Joe Reasons and Jerry Kummelander for the position of head football coach here at Churchill. And I thought that I had been interviewed by Winston Churchill himself. And I was not the only person that thought that. I will never forget the football game that we played in Round Rock, Texas. We were flagged 12 times. This is a true story. We were flagged 12 times. 11 of those penalties were called on our football team. The 12th flag was thrown on Mr. Reason. Let me explain. It's late in the game. We were behind, but we were driving down the field to take the lead. We run a play for a big game, and then all of a sudden I see this yellow cloth flying through the air behind the play, and the referee signals unsportsmanlike conduct. They march off 15 yards against us, and I am visibly upset. I knew that this could be a drive killer, so I asked the referee, I asked to speak directly to him. So the referee walked over to the sideline. He knew that I was upset. In a pretty loud voice, I asked him, "Who did you call that penalty on?" And he answered back yelling, "Your mascot." I said, "Mascot? We don't have a live mascot." Then he turned to Mr. Reasons on the sideline and said, "That guy that's dressed up just like Winston Churchill." We went on to score on that drive and we won the game, so Mr. Reasons was off the hook. That is a true story. In the sporting news recently, Tom Brady, NFL quarterback, retired. Everyone called him the GOAT, an acronym for greatest of all time. Well, Joe Reasons is obviously not that. But I thought it would be fun to come up with an acronym made up of his last name, adjectives befitting of him. Now, I have a first draft that I would like to share. R in Reasons. I started off with repulsive, but I thought that might be a little harsh, so rude. E, this was easy, embarrassing. A was my favorite. I think this sums it up, annoying. S, sneaky. The O, I've got three. I couldn't narrow it down to one. Obnoxious, offensive, and definitely overrated. The N, naughty. And the S, I started with stud, but Karen vetoed that, saying not hardly. So I settled with shallow. Now, I read these to my wife, Charlotte, and she reminded me that this was an occasion to honor Joe Reasons. So I threw the first draft in the trash. What follows is the real acronym. R in Reasons stands for respected. Everyone that knows you respects you. People know what's in your heart. They watch you lead with integrity, humility, and an unwavering commitment to do what was best for the students. We all respect you for that. The E stands for encouraging. The school business can be hard. Everyone that worked under your leadership felt encouraged by you. You continually praised the students, teachers, and staff. All those around you felt that you believed in them, and that trust inspired us all. The A stands for assuring. You have the it factor, Mr. Reasons. The it factor is an intangible, you can't measure it, but it is obvious to all. When you walk in a room, you make everyone feel like things are going to be fine. They're going to be okay. Your steady at the helm leadership style brought to life the British motto, stay calm and carry on. You gave us the confidence to meet every challenge with resolve. The first S stands for selfless. You put the wants and needs of us ahead of your own. Your selflessness manifested in humility. You never accepted credit for the many successes of this school. In fact, you worked hard to stay out of the spotlight, always content to stay behind the scene. But make no mistake, success would not have happened if it were not for your leadership and guidance. The O is original. The good Lord broke the mold when He made you. It is rare for any one person to be distinguished, compassionate, credible, fair, trustworthy, and to have a relentless sense of humor. You embraced the grind of being a school administrator, and you had a fun time doing it. You could always interject humor and laughter just at the right time, and that mix made for a fun and rewarding work environment. The N in reason stands for noble. Bottom line is you're just a good guy. You have always handled yourself in an honorable manner. You are sincere. You care for those around you. And personally, I always felt that I was a part of something special because you were there. You talked about the importance of paying it forward, and you backed it up with your actions. Then the last S stands for sentimental. Every day you showed your love for all charters, and you cherish the traditions of this great high school. When members of your staff were hurting, you hurt along with them. And when they were celebrating, you celebrated with them. You were always willing to show your true emotions, and you didn't care if that made you seem vulnerable. What it did was it made you compassionate, caring, and loved. The Reason's acronym: respected, encouraging, assuring, selfless, original, noble, and sentimental. To have an academic building here at Churchill named in your honor is something very special. About 30 years ago, Northside ISD named one of their football stadiums after my father. No doubt my dad was moved emotionally by the honor, as were all members of my family. But what we didn't realize then was that it was the honor that would keep on giving. You see, countless people have asked why the stadium was named after my dad, and when they ask that question, they learn something about my father that they didn't know before. So while my dad's name lives on in a stadium, more importantly, his life story and his character live on as well. And the same will happen here at Churchill High School. 5, 10, 20, 50 years from now, students, teachers, and community members will ask who Joe Reasons is. And in turn, they will learn more about you. They will learn of your accomplishments, your sense of humor, and your character. I can hear future students ask, who is this Joe Reasons dude? And someone will answer, I heard he was a really good guy that looked a lot like Winston Churchill. And another student will say, yeah, but I also heard that he was the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Congratulations to you and your entire family. Karen, thank you for sharing your husband with us. And I love you.
Thank you, Coach Gus, for all the nice things you said about Mr. Reasons. As you can see, Churchill High School is a school filled with tradition. Before we bring Mr. Reasons to the stage, we want to talk about one tradition that he started that is still thriving and extremely important for our Churchill cluster. When Mr. Reasons was principal, he started a program called the NEISD. This program was designed to recognize elementary students for good behavior and reward them by bringing them and their families to the Churchill games. Mr. Reasons made it a point to buy them a hot dog and a drink and to visit with them during each game. I am happy to say that this tradition still continues today. Mr. Reasons, we would like you to come up to the stage now as we present you with a shirt from the Churchill Pals that commemorates the Lion Fins program. We hope you will wear the shirt with great pride and that the program still brings to our community. Would everyone please put their hands together to welcome our honored guest, Mr. Joe Reasons.
Thank you very much to Churchill Pals for doing this. It's exactly like it was so many years ago. And I appreciate all of the words that Coach Gus said. I literally, as I thought about this for almost a year, and I was at home last night trying to put together some words that could get across what I was feeling, what this meant to me, and I literally could not come up with the words that were adequate. I do remember my friend Dr. Shuff was saying one time, reasons there are. You have done so many things to so many people that they're just going to be standing in line, getting ready to get back at you. So when I found out about this honor, I thought, oh, here he comes. And when I heard that Coach Gus was going to be speaking, I thought, once again, here it comes. But it just goes beyond my wildest imagination. I'm not quite sure how this all came about, but what I am sure is that it is the most humbling, thoughtful expression that has ever been made towards me. How this came about, I will never know, but I do want you to know how much this means to me. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that this would ever take place for reasons. I'm just as sure that it started a long time ago, and not long after this announcement was made, Mr. Churchill put out a very nice social media announcement about the honor. I got an email from a cousin I haven't seen for a long time, and his words to me were, "I bet you, Mike and Bunk, are really proud of you." Mike was my mom, put her name, and Bunk was my dad, and Marvin. And I hope they're proud. Proud is a tough word because it's not something that I normally use. Pride can be a two-edged sword, but I hope they're proud of me. And I'm also just as certain that this didn't happen without the support of some people that are very close to me. And I've told so many people, this is the nicest, most humbling thing that has ever occurred next to my family. And it wouldn't have occurred without them. And I would like to introduce them to you. I'll just go right down the line. I'll try to go very quickly. My granddaughter, Addie Hubbard, Lacey Hubbard. Lacey was just accepted to Michigan State University. Grandson, Aiden. Grandson, Gunnar. My son-in-law, Stephen. My daughter, Amy Coates, who it has been nothing that I've done, but Amy has already started making a name for herself in this district as a very well-respected principal, and I'm very proud of her. My second daughter, Katie. Katie is also a very well-respected, known across the country and around the world for her work as a teacher, and she works with Colonel District as a director of mentoring and new teacher mentoring and professional development. And she has made quite a name for herself. And then, but the person that has kept all of this together during the many times that I was away for coaching, the hours that I was away as an assistant principal and as a principal, held everything together. And that person is my wife, Karen. Reasons. I just finished for 50 years of work, but I'm still got my hand in it, and I don't ever want to lose that. We just finished with 50 years of marriage. I'm not quite sure how she's done it, but we take a lot of pride in it also. But through the years, I have had the honor of working with so many people, and it started in a little town and just outside Detroit, which you wouldn't think is little, but 4 square miles of my hometown, where I went to elementary school and high school, and where I got to go back to high school and work with the folks who had encouraged me and impressed me and made me want to be a teacher. My English teacher and my high school coach meant so much to me, and that school meant so much to me, and that neighborhood. It was unbelievable. It was part of a big city, but yet it was a small town. And my parents, my sisters, instilled in me, and the school instilled in me a work ethic that served me well all through school. And then coming to San Antonio has been so good to me, so good to my family. And I can't say enough about what Northeast has done for us. It's been almost like a period of second chances for Joe Reese's, because along the way in 50 years, you can really do some swirly things, or at least I can. But they've always hung with me. They've always overlooked many faults, and the time that I served at Nimitz Middle School was unbelievable. And then when I came to Churchill, I told the communications director today, I came here from a very small private Christian school. And I remember coming to the campus the first day, knowing Churchill's reputation, knowing what kind of school it was, knowing the reputation that the kids had, and thinking, what can I possibly contribute to that place? I don't know that I had anything that would contribute to Churchill High School. I'm just a small private school principal, and it was a little bit awesome at first to move into the position at Churchill. But it has been everything that anyone would expect, and Mr. Bloom knows, Justin Oxley knows, what kind of special place this is, and the teachers that come together, but most importantly, the parents who come together. And of course, we can't say enough about the Churchill students. So many people I've talked to have said their school is just unbelievable. There's not another school like it. And I just shake my head, and you just had no idea. If you could experience Churchill High School, you would see that that truly is a special place. The pride that is felt here, the traditions that are felt. It's unlike any other place. And I wish that there's so many of you that I wish I could name this morning and thank you for everything that you've done for me. But I can't do that, and I know that I would miss something. But I'm very grateful that Dr. Newman was here today. She was my boss for a number of years, and I never forget. I think it was Dr. Oxley's idea. And I know Dr. Sheffield said that there's so many people who were waiting in line for me. And it was all allegations. Right? All kinds of stories, all kinds of allegations, but there's never any proof of it. And I remember Dr. Oxley going down and putting, I think it was Dr. Oxley, putting false eyelashes on Dr. Newman's brand new Lexus. And I believe it was Dr. Oxley's idea. Not at all. Dr. Newman called me last year to give me a hint about something brewing. She said, "Are you going to the board meeting tonight?" And I had been retired for over 6 months. She said, "Are you going to the board meeting tonight?" And I said, "Pardon me?" And I live for board meetings. Board meetings were my life. And I remember at Dr. Oxley, I think it was either Dr. Oxley or Bill Boyd, came up with this idea that we were going to have a pool every Monday at the board meetings. And we would all chip in $5, $10. And whoever got closest to the time that either Miss Jensen or Dr. Newman would go to sleep. I made quite a bit of money. But I was really proud of that. Anyway, I don't quite know how I got here. I don't quite know what I said today. Except, I hope that I have been able to get across what this means. And it's just an unbelievable moment in my life. And I thank Mr. Bloomer. I thank the Churchill CIC committee for thinking of me 15 years after I left. And I'm so appreciative of that. I'm very appreciative of each of you being here today, especially our board members, Ms. Berman, everyone who took time out on a kind of ugly day to come and share this time with me and with my family. It's very special. And I see principals who I work with. That means a lot to me as well. Thank you once again. Thank you, Mr. Bloomer. And I hope that if you go over and see my building, please take your shoes off. I think Ms. Schaefer has booties. I believe there's a basket here as well. Make donations to my time. All of that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Reasons. Before we end the ceremony with our school song, I would like to invite any guest of Mr. Reasons and the staff to the 9000 ballroom, to the ballroom in the Joe Reasons Academic Building immediately after the presentation. Thank you for coming out, and thank you, Mr. Reasons, for all you have done for NEISD and Winston Churchill High School. Now for our school song.